Good morning. Welcome to the Dr. Lisa Wicker Inside Career Success Show. We are talking this morning about a number of things, but with an amazing woman. But I just want to welcome you to this Wednesday. This is a show where we highlight extraordinary women that are shaping the future of leadership in bold and brilliant ways. We also are really talking with women who celebrate one another, who lift one another, who care for one another, and is about the business of business in the marketplace. And so this is your spot to learn, to connect, and to grow, and to contribute to the conversation that we're going to have today with a brilliant woman who actually was a recipient this year of the Leadership in Action Award. And so you'll meet her shortly. But before then, let me tell you a little about Career Mastered for those of you who may be just joining us for the first time. Career Mastered is the leading program to accelerate women's business in the marketplace. It is about advancing women, helping them to grow and to have the resources and tools necessary to level up either as their own CEO or to be in a corporate environment where they have leveled up in a way that they so desire, or as I say, do what it is you do well so that your purpose comes forth. And so that's who we're about. That's what we're about. And we started 10 years ago. We're celebrating our 11th year, actually. And inside of 11 years, we have done tremendous work with not only women, but with girls. We have men allies that support us and a number of sponsors that have helped us with the lift that we do each and every day. We established a magazine in 2018, which is quarterly and global, that is in both print and digital, where we can tell her story. And now let me tell you a little bit about what's happening just briefly, and then we'll come back to this once we've had our conversation with our special guest. But today, I want to just share with you that we have launched the campaign for our biannual Top Entrepreneurial Women to Watch. It only happens every other year. And right now, we're accepting application and nominations for this prestigious award, which at the end of the selection process, one of these women will be on the cover of the fall magazine, as well as the recipient of a $2,500 business grant. Now, maybe that's you, or maybe you know someone that needs a business grant. But at the end of the day, that's not every day that you can apply, get nominated, selected, and end up on the cover, as well as receive a business grant with a multitude of other benefits. So let me share that the deadline to apply is on the 30th of June. So we have been at this for a while. So if you've missed that, quickly act now. I always say opportunities pass you by because you don't act. So act now so that you can have a chance to be a part of this wonderful publication that's coming out this fall. And then I'd like to share with you that our Brunch with the Master series for the spring has concluded. We were in Charlotte, North Carolina, New York, as well as Detroit. And we've had over 250 women a part of this process where we made connections to level up what we're doing in the marketplace. And now as we go into the fall and head to the fall, if you're that woman that would like to be an ambassador to host this very event in your city or state, just give us a call and contact us at info@careermaster.com, and you can be a part of this conversation. And really, it's not just about conversations. Let me make sure you understand that Career Master believes that there's power in proximity. And if you're in the room with women that certainly have some of the resources that you need, or you're providing resources that women can use, that's your time to connect. That's your time to make sure you lean in and get that reciprocity that gets you to that next level. And certainly, I'm one that have watched many women that have come inside of the Career Master Network receive investments, to receive promotions, to receive jobs. That's what we're doing, as well as support for their companies. And so I urge you to ensure that you're part of the Brunch with the Masters. Our summer magazine is out. It is in print and digital form. April Simpkins, who is the recipient of this year's Resilience Award and the author of By the Time You Read This, and a mental health advocate, is on the cover. Please read her exclusive story. A brilliant woman who lost her daughter, but has turned that into an advocacy that we all need to stand up for: resilience. And so please read the article, pick it up at careermaster.com. And then quickly, I'll share with you that we are about bringing the next generation with us. And the Back to School Girls STEM Fab Summit is happening in both Charlotte and Detroit. Charlotte is going to be July the 26th, and Detroit is going to be September the 6th. So if you have a girl or niece or a goddaughter or whomever that is between the ages of 10 and 18, and you want her to have an experience of a 4-hour interactive exclusive in-store Macy's Somerset Collection and Macy's South Park stores are opening their doors just for us. And we have 100 slots in each city, where each girl will receive $50 to shop for back to school at no cost to them, as well as a $200 in-kind scholarship to attend this event, where we will pour into them that have fun as well as a fashion show and get the chance to shop. Now, I said a lot. Let's get into our show and bring on none other than our honoree today. She is with us. Her name is Dr. Karla Mitchell. Hi, Karla.
Hi, Dr. Wicker. How are you?
I am great. Thank you for being with us today. We are really in good hands. We welcome this lady who is a true wellness warrior and community champion, Dr. Karla Mitchell. She is a naturopathic doctor and executive director of C.L.A.S.S, Changing Lives and Staying Sober, a nonprofit serving individuals impacted by substance use and mental health challenges, which we just talked about for a moment there. And
Yep.
she also leads Exhalation Integrative Wellness, her Detroit based holistic center offering evidence based natural health solutions, is part of what she does. But I'm going to tell you a little bit more, because her resume is just like that. I'm just saying it, okay? Her mission is to eliminate health disparities, empower individuals, and make quality care accessible for all. That is wonderful. I mean, in these times, we definitely need what you are providing. And then through her practice, advocacy, and social platform, um, she inspires a movement of whole person healing and challenges traditional models of care. Dr. Karla is a healer, a leader, and change maker, transforming lives one community at a time. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I got to ask, who wrote that bio? That is
You?
amazing. I'm like, it's always funny to hear other people describe what I do, you know?
Yeah,
Thank
well,
you.
you wrote that resume. Let me just
Thank
tell you that. I tell you what, it did not just happen. It's all a part of your story that you have been writing for years.
thank you.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you.
Well,
Thank you.
Dr. Carla, welcome to the Inside Career Success Show. And what we'll do is start off by asking you to tell us about your journey. What inspired you to the purpose of neuropathic medicine and holistic healing?
Absolutely. It's a story that I love to tell because when people think about wellness, they think about wellness trends. And my life is a testament to this work. So, for clarity's sake, I'm born and raised in Detroit, Michigan, where automotive is king, right? And so I graduated high school going right into automotive. I actually have 2 business degrees that had me as a sales professional in automotive for a very long time. And after my 4th child, I was given a cancer diagnosis and really just decided that I was not going to do medical intervention. And I embarked on a personal journey where I created remedies and protocols for myself. I'll never forget. I want to describe the experience of the diagnosis. I was in my doctor's office who had delivered all my children. It was my annual PAP. And he called, his office called and was like, Dr. Hokeman wants you to come into the office. And I'm like, for what? He delivered all my kids. He gives me all the other news over the phone. Why do I need to come into the office?
Yeah.
So I go into the office and I'm realizing that after 4 children, I had never seen the office proper. It's always been an exam room. But this day I'm sitting in his office and he sits me down. He was an old Jewish guy. He sits me down and he says, he takes a sticky note and he draws a number line, 0 to 10. He goes, if 0 was a healthy cervix and 10 was cancer, you'd be a 9.5 today. And that was the way he delivered the news to me, which was fine. We had a longer relationship. And I thought to myself, yeah, well, I'm not going to go the conventional route. Embarked on a journey, put together, and this is, blindly put together some protocols, bought a book, did it religiously for like 45 days. And when I went back to the doctor, they couldn't find any abnormal cells on my cervix.
Amen.
Yes. And that was the impetus for me going back to school to become a naturopathic doctor. And because I knew all the people around me, had Ziploc bags for the medication. I told the story. My grandmother was the neighborhood dope lady. She'd go and get her prescriptions and keep them in her Ziploc bag. And then the neighbors would come and be like, they would ask her, like, do you have this? Do you have that? And it was just weird.
Yeah.
So that was the inspiration for me becoming a naturopathic doctor. For changing lives and staying sober, I identify as an adult child of addiction. Both of my parents had addictions. I grew up in the cocaine 80s and the crack 90s. I watched my parents and my uncles in their addiction. And really changing lives and staying sober started out as a volunteer passion project. I volunteered for the organization, sat on its board. And when the esteemed director emeritus, Carolyn Kennedy Anderson, decided she was going to retire, she asked me to take over the agency, which was an honor.
Yes.
I accepted that baton. And so that work at C.L.A.S.S agency is very near and dear to my heart. And where my work intersects is trying to innovate in behavioral health, bringing more than just physical and mental behavioral medicine in the same room, but really leveraging naturopathic care as part of the mental and behavioral health process. And so I know that was a mouthful, but
No, I appreciate it. So I take it that as a young girl, you may have had a glimpse of what your life would be, or as you tell the story, how it happened through your doctor. What did you think you would grow up to be as a little girl? Did you have a dream?
I did. I actually thought I actually wanted to be an international law attorney.
Really?
I did. And actually my first co-op job was in the patent office of a automotive supplier. I really did think that I wanted to be an international attorney. I grew up learning languages. I studied Japanese in middle school. I did Spanish in high school. And I thought, I'm going to be an international attorney. My mother was a flight attendant growing up. And we traveled. And so I'm like, I'm not going to be grounded. I'm going to be all over the world. That was what I thought I was going to be doing. But God had other plans, obviously.
Well, you sound like you were inquisitive.
Yeah, very much.
Curious as a girl.
Very
And
much.
then because you had the exposure to travel, you got to see a lot, right? So that's awesome. What makes your approach to recovery and mental wellness unique in a space often dominated by clinical or institutional models?
When I am asked that question, Dr. Wicker, I often say I am a person. First of all, I offer person-centered care. It's individualized and it's specific. It's not a cookie cutter approach. As you know, convention is very much cookie cutter.
Yes.
And so said a different way, 2 people can come in my office with the same diagnosis and leave my office with 2 different types of care plans, right? And as it relates to behavioral health, I am deeply committed to person-centered care. Everybody's journey is not the same.
Right.
I subscribe heavily to the notion of readiness to change. Not everybody who comes to treatment is ready to be treated. There are people who are active in their addiction and not ready to let go. And so my agency really sits with people. I don't care where you are on that readiness to change spectrum. We don't turn anybody away. So if we have to walk with you a little longer until you decide to stop, we'll do that.
Yes.
Or if we have to introduce you to harm reduction techniques because you've decided that you're not stopping, well, we try to help you prevent, communicable diseases or, minimize the risk of overdose and things like that. So we just try to meet people where they are. We are for an institution, we are very deinstitutionalized, right? So we feel like a family coming into the door, not an institution that's going to judge you or make you feel bad for your choices,
Right. So I take it that, your agency can handle challenges with not only cancer as an example, all the way through chronic substance abuse.
Yep.
Okay.
So absolutely. So what I tell people is all the disease names that people are aware of for me are symptoms. There's really two diseases in my practice: infection and inflammation. What
Interesting.
conventional medicine calls illness to me is a symptom of a defunct body system. And so we try to I use this word. We try to demedicalize the healthcare experience.
Interesting. Interesting.
Mhm.
Boy, I could really get into this. So, can you share like a powerful transformation story that reflects the impact of your work in your agency? Like not the name, but just the story of a transformation that somebody came in and now here's where they are.
Yeah, there's actually two. And I never do it justice. It always comes better from my clients' mouths, right? But I had one young lady who walked in my office on a whim. I thought she was my next appointment. She was hysterical. Her doctor's office was pressuring her to have a hysterectomy because they thought that she had, propensity for cancer. And I worked with her for a year, and I wish I had shared that before and after photo. But she had excessive inflammation in her body. But as it turns out, I've been caring for her for the past 5 years, and to hear her tell the story of almost having to lose her lady parts and
Yes.
then coming from a place where she still has them and doesn't experience the reproductive challenges that she once did. It's an
Yes.
amazing story. I call her my biggest cheerleader. And then there was another gentleman who came in who had been diagnosed with leukemia, and his wife was hysterical. They thought that he was going to have to go through a bout of chemotherapy and radiation. And not only after caring for him did they reverse the diagnosis of leukemia, but they also eliminated and reversed the diagnosis of diabetes and high blood pressure as well.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Yeah, and so
It's just amazing.
it is
I mean,
amazing.
'cause I just lost my middle sister in January.
So sorry to
Yeah,
hear
I'm,
that.
I'm still I'm still dealing with that.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, miss her a lot every day, picking up the phone to call her, but she left because of diabetes. And we watched that whole process for 5 years, just kind of take her, from a healthy body to, this still had the complete mind, but her body gave way to the machine and all the things that go on with that, right? And so I subscribe to what you're saying in a way that, is there a time that you could change something like with your diet or things that you're doing that may prolong life, because we're all going to leave, but at some point prolong life, right? So I'm definitely leaning into kind of what you're doing. And the two things you just said was there are two uh, paths. One is infection, and the other is inflammation.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, just from aging, inflammation happens. Okay.
Yes, for sure. For
Yeah,
sure.
inflammation seems to kind of just like part of that journey, right?
Yeah, I've often said, based on what you just said, I used to say, I should say this, I used to say that longevity was my marker. Like I am all about reclaiming Black longevity.
Yes.
But then I realized you can reclaim longevity and live a long, miserable life. And so
Yes.
now I say I'm about improving health span because I want you to live long, but I want you to live long well. I want you to have fun. I want you to dance. I don't want you to live a long time and you can't move your body, you
You
know?
can't do anything, right?
Yeah,
Right.
so now I'm about reclaiming health span, you
I
know.
love it. I love it. Well, the scripture says, with long life, I'll satisfy you, right?
Yep.
And so with that, I'm sure God intended, and I'm just saying this, you didn't say this, but it's with a healthy long
Yeah.
life.
Yes.
So
Yes. Yes.
I'm looking forward to it. But let's talk about exhalation integrative wellness. Tell me about what that is as a part of your business.
So yes, actually I've since rebranded. I think that's some old information. So
Okay.
Exhalation Integrative Wellness is my practice.
Okay.
3 years ago we rebranded to House of Healthy Living.
Mm,
Um,
I like that.
Yep, House of Healthy Living. And I'm making the acronyms. House is an acronym for Healing Achieved Using the Simplicity of Healthy Living. So House of Healthy Living is my practice. And so there's a distinction. House of Healthy Living is where I interface with patients, just like medical doctors, and their health. And Changing Lives and Staying Sober is the Community Behavioral Health Center, which is a nonprofit. And so at House of Healthy Living, I interface with patients just like a medical doctor does, except everything that I do is natural in nature, from the health assessments that I do to the health improvement plans that I put together.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah.
And is that's in Detroit, right?
It's in Detroit. Yep.
Okay. And how do you educate clients on balancing their body chemistry and addressing chronic conditions? Like you don't have to tell us everything, but just something simple when people are trying to make change.
Absolutely. So I always start with my 4 pillars. I tell people this all the time. I have 4 pillars. I'm evolving them into 6 now, but I have 4 pillars. The first one is hydration. People are not aware about how much.
Let me get a pencil. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, for me, hydration is key. People are not drinking water.
I know, but I'm gonna just tell you what that is. And I'm supposed to be listening to you, but I can tell you right now. Hydration. I'm getting my own private consultation with you.
I love it. I love
it. Hydration is like really, really something, because as much as it's the first thing that you have, I'm gonna let you talk in a minute. Water is the hardest thing to go get and drink, and I'm not sure why that is, but right now we had a heat wave. I'm in North Carolina right now, and we lost the internet. The outage is just so hot right now, 100 degrees yesterday, and I'm sure that's happening in where you are, maybe. And people are not drinking enough water. So go ahead and talk to them.
So my first pillar is hydration. It's so funny. I tease people all the time. Like, I'm a drink from the hose. I grew up drinking from the water hose.
And I did too in Mississippi.
Exactly. And now we have to have cute water bottles. We have to have trinkets. We have to have sachets. For so many things that people have to prepare to drink water. And I just try to get people to get it back to the basics. And, it's so funny. People are like, well, should I be drinking alkaline water? Should I be drinking this? And it's like, I am a person that does not believe in alkaline water, although I have people that I love, swear by it, sell it, distribute it, whatever. Yeah. But hydration. In my home, we alternate between distilled water and spring water. Okay. And the reason why we do that is because distilled water can be toxifying, and it's also what we call chelating. It pulls excess from the body. But we don't drink it all the time, because if you do, it'll start to deplete mineralize. It'll demineralize you. So you don't want dry skin, brittle nails, brittle hair, dry hair. So we drink distilled water as a matter of practice to detoxify. And then we alternate to spring water, because spring water is naturally mineralizing, and it's the way God made it. So distilled water is, steam distillation, and spring water is just what it is. Okay. And so hydration is the first pillar. The second pillar is rest and sleep. People don't make the distinction. People don't make the distinction between sleep and rest. You can sleep for 8 hours and not get a lick of rest.
Yes, true.
And so I try to educate my clients on like what the difference is, right?
Yeah.
And this is all before I interact with your body. So I need to make sure that you understand that hydration is key, rest is key. Then the third thing is nourishment. Now, you have people who will wake up and not eat a lick of food until 3 p.m, or you have people who graze, or you have people who are missing, critical macronutrients or micronutrients from their diet. So I'm educating them on, you don't have to eat, 3 square meals. I'm okay with you not eating square meals, but I want you to be consistent.
Yeah.
I want you to make sure that you're getting some greens in there. So like if you have to eat a salad once a day just to get your greens in, fine. If you can commit to 2 to 4 ounces of green juice a day, I'm happy with that, because these are lifestyle habits that carry.
Yeah.
Before and after I'm interacting with a patient, these are lifestyle habits that carry. So hydration, rest, nourishment in the form of something green, and consistent eating meal times throughout the day. Okay. And then finally movement.
Yeah.
You do not have to spend $1 gazillion on a gym membership. You could just walk up and down the block a couple times, park farther away from the door, the simple things, take the stairs instead of the elevator. So those 4 pillars, I think, are critical in terms of lifestyle habits that I'd really love to see people master.
Yes.
Before we start looking at supplements and therapies and things like that.
Yes, that's a book right there. That's a book right there. You get the book. Is there a book right there, Dr. Karla, on that right there? Because
I'm listening to what you're saying. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
It's just like basic 101, basic 101 before you start taking any pills and doing anything. And I will tell you that the majority of us, I can't speak for everybody, but I already failed 2 of them. So I got some work to do.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I tell people if they want to alkalize their water, I
Mhm.
am a big fan of infused water. So you can do lemons, any citrus fruit you can infuse water with. All the cute stuff, strawberry and mint and
Yeah,
basil, and all of those things work for
it does.
alkalizing water. But to
Okay.
spend money on alkaline water, I'm not
Yeah.
a big fan
Mhm.
of that. Yeah, I'm not a big fan.
So I maybe that'll help because I was thinking I add something to it so I like it more, but definitely hydration, you said rest, nourishment, and movement. Did y'all hear that? Just in case you didn't, and you need to come back and pass this over to like your friends and make sure that people get this information. This is free, complimentary information. Um, and then my one of the guests, Lindell High, she's saying, infused water. Is this good for you as well? And you just answered that.
Yeah, it is. It's fun to make. It looks cute in a water bottle, and it's good for you.
Yes, good, good. And she said, "What is your location?"
So my office is located on Detroit's west side at Grand River and Lasser. I'm in the Obama building, Suite 300. Actually, Class Agency is Suite 200. House of Healthy Living is Suite 300. So my practice and the nonprofits um, are in the same building. Grand River and Lasser in Detroit, 22,000 Grand River.
This is great. This is great. So, another question. What are some of the common misconceptions that people have about natural medicine?
You know, if you had asked me that question 10 years ago, um, I think I might add that the word quackery and naturopathic care was synonymous. Like people
Mhm.
thought it was um witchy woo
Yeah.
earth-based medicine. And
Hmm.
I've long since been an advocate for what I naturopathic medicine is nature cure.
Yeah. Hmm.
It's
Hmm.
nature cure. And what we're seeing in the industry, I tell people all the time, the eight people think or associations like the American Medical Association own words like treat and cure, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And 10 years ago, there was no mention of naturopathy or naturopathic medicine in the AMA or the medical field. Now
Right.
you're finding naturopathic medical doctors because people have started complaining about the fact that medical doctors don't even take nutrition courses or they don't take herbalism courses. And so there's a distinction between medicine and nature cure.
Wow.
So I think one of the common misconceptions is that naturopathic medicine or naturopathy as a practice is not a self-sustaining standalone practice, but it is because it is 100% nature cure.
Yeah. I mean, that's where, I mean, everything comes from nature.
It does.
Everything.
And back to nature we go.
And back to nature we go. I mean, I like the fact that a lot of people are gardening these days. What's your comment on that?
I am a master gardener.
Get out of here.
I'm a master gardener. One of my daughters is just becoming a master. I grew up with it. Like my grandmother, I remember we would string peppers to dry.
Yeah.
I mentioned earlier that both my parents had addictions.
Yeah.
My grandmother raised me, so I got all the things.
Yes.
We
Yes.
cooking from scratch. I got all the things. It was such a blessing.
Yes.
I am
Yes.
big into gardening. I think it's so important, and especially in these
In
times.
these times, I mean,
Yeah, you need to be growing some food.
we need to be growing some food but I love the fact when I go on social media, I see people that are doing their backyards. My niece has a garden in New York. I mean, at this point, I think people are getting the message. We may not be able to depend on what society is going to give us, but if we just
Right.
go and do our own thing with nature in the ground, we can grow some tomatoes and
And listen, if you can't do it in the ground, 5-gallon buckets work.
yes, hello,
5-gallon buckets work. You
there
just
you
have a
go.
bucket garden if you have to. Do not be limited by space,
Yes, yes.
or yard space or whatever. Get to growing. Throw some seeds in a bucket and see what happens.
I love it. I'm going to get mine today. You know, got me going, girl.
Yes.
I tell you, I'm having my own client time right now with you. So
There's still
you're
time.
not just a healer. You're an advocate for change. How are you challenging conventional health through your work? I mean, not directly, but like I said, you need this book right now. But what other ways are you doing this?
So I've spent a lot of time. One of my passions is to find ways to inform new practice, right? I spend a lot of time on like task forces and work groups, review committees, just understanding the patterns in public health, where we need to spend more time doing needs assessments and listening to people. My advocacy really looks like challenging the irreverent side of medicine and public health by saying the way that we divine resources should not come from the top down. It should come from the bottom up. We should listen when people tell us what they need. For example, I'll give you, gardening is a beautiful example. I use it all the time. A couple years ago, there were initiatives that brought fresh fruit and vegetables into the house of people in urban communities because we live in the food desert in Detroit. And what we learned after that was that people were getting that, they were growing produce, or these gardens were being installed and they were throwing it away. Guess why?
Why?
Because they didn't know how to prepare the food.
Oh my goodness.
Now, had you asked them, they may have told you and you might have done something different. So it kind of set the program back a couple years, but it's things like that. And when I think about advocacy, I think about standing in for the voice of people.
Yes.
I am very uncomfortable with people who are disconnected from our communities, making decisions and designing programs for our people.
Yeah.
So advocacy looks like sitting in these rooms at these tables and asking, did you ask them?
Yes.
Did you ask them what they need? Versus, and a lot of times people who make decisions about communities don't look like the people in those communities, right?
Yeah.
And so that's the other piece, is being an advocate means taking up space in places where a lot of people don't necessarily look like me. And that's
you said something important. You could have a garden, let's say, in the urban area, and if nobody's ever had just name a vegetable that let's just
squash, zucchini, squash.
And like you say, they may not even know how to cook it.
Yeah.
And they may not have the means for even social media to go and try and figure it out. Right. So yeah. I love that this is what we need to do. And Dr. Sabrina just chimed in. She said, "This is my doctor." Dr. Sabrina, I can see why she's your doctor.
I love her.
I'm getting all I need right now this morning. I'm gonna have to make a few phone calls, follow up, because I'm leaning in on just 4 things she told me, and I'm not doing 2 of them right now. So I got some work to do. But at the end of the day, this is good information. Our people need to have this information. That's why we're listening to Dr. Sabrina as well on Mondays, Mental Health Mondays. This is where we need to go back to some basics where we can understand what may keep us from being healthy, right?
Yeah.
So let me ask you, what needs to change in public health to truly serve marginalized communities?
Oh,
I know that's a big one right there.
That, and then I am in the space where I'm learning how to speak carefully.
Yeah, I get it. And diplomatically correct.
I'm not there yet, Dr. Wicker.
Well, we all aren't, and we have to kind of show up as who we are authentically. So I think the first thing is to, again, a bottoms up approach to public health. I think more community-based organizations should serve in the role as gatekeeper to our community. A lot of funders, researchers, and universities like to parachute into our communities, create stories about our communities, glean funding for our communities. Oh my goodness.
Leave, people are still in the same situation, right?
Oh yes.
And so what needs to change is frontline leadership by people who are boots on the ground. And I think organizations, funders, and places are well intended, but we're just a long ways away from resources empowering solutions. There's a lot in the middle.
I like that. And the reason I know you're telling the truth, and sometimes the truth hurts, no matter if it may not sound like you're saying it correctly. The deal is, every commercial, every radio station, everything you hear about Black illness or even just disease, the Blacks seem to have the most of it, right? And I don't think that all of it's true. I'm not saying that some of it's not true, but sometimes you become what people say if you listen long enough.
Oh, programming is a real thing. That's why they call it programming. Yeah.
And so I think there's a lot that's needed in the marginalized communities to help teach, how to ask questions. Just like you're saying, when people come to you, you don't even talk to them until you get through these first 4 things that I didn't pass this test that you gave me this morning. only be talking to you for 30 minutes. We're already over. Okay, I'm gonna have to do another show. I have to see this right now because actually, right now, I have not behaved, but I'm gonna get online. Right. So thank you for that. But let me move quickly because I have one other couple other
Sure,
questions
sure, sure, sure.
for ambitious women that are in our audience or that will hear this
Yes.
when I replay this, um, that are juggling careers and wellness. And you and I talked about this a little bit before the show. What advice would you offer for staying healthy and grounded? Because we all go through, okay?
Yeah.
And while success can look certain ways to certain people, they look on the outside of what we're doing and they think, oh, they got it together. We all are trying to work towards something, okay?
Yeah. I think what has worked for me is boundary setting. And I laugh about
Mm,
it all the time. So I'm a mom of 5. When my kids were growing up, I used to close at like 7 o'clock.
yeah,
And, and it would be like, if you don't know where your uniform is or your homework is not, you on your own after 7.
yeah,
The kitchen is
yeah,
closed, mommy's closed. I have to like have my decompression time. So to say that is to set boundaries, firm no, so you can say better yeses, and definitely just making sure you don't lose yourself. I guess the catchphrase is finding balance, like remembering that you are a woman first, an individual, somebody's daughter, somebody's sister, somebody's friend, and
yeah,
that you don't let go of those roles because it's because of my sister friend that I am here with you
yes,
today,
yeah, yeah,
And just remembering, I often talk about not seeing myself the way other people see me because I'm like this, I'm going, trying to
yeah,
help people. But at the end of the day, just taking a minute to pause and recognize that you're still an individual. You're not what you do. You're
yeah.
who you are, right?
That's it. I like that. Let's snap on that one. You're
Yeah.
not what you do. You are who you are, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, what would you like your legacy to be as a doctor and as a leader?
I'm thinking of I'm just hitting that mark where I'm asking myself that question. And I think for me, I think you described it in my bio. I want to leave a legacy of wisdom that empowers people to make informed healthcare choices.
Love it.
Right now, we put a lot of weight on the white coat. We
Yes.
put a lot of trust and weight, and not that you shouldn't trust the white coat, but I think I tell people this, your body is a temple, right?
Hmm.
Occupy this space 24/7. If you are in a space where people are not revealing to you what's happening in your body, then you're disconnected.
Yes.
When you go to the doctor, people should not be telling you what is happening in the space that you live in 24/7.
Wow.
And so my hope is that my legacy is transformational wisdom that allows people to ask the right questions in a way that helps them make the absolute best healthcare choices for themselves.
Yes, I love it. I love it. And with that, how do people stay connected to you and get in contact with you? Because I know right now, after I replay this, because I already see a couple of us asking about where you are, because this is great information, and we only had like 35 minutes. It was supposed to be 30. I probably could go another hour because I have some questions on inflammation. I have some questions on sleeping.
Sure.
I have a whole lot of
Sure.
questions.
So the best way to get a hold of me, I am on Instagram as a dose of Dr. Karla.
Okay.
And my website is a landing page for booking. So the website is houseofhealthyliving.com. And I just want to reiterate that house is spelled HAUS.
I'm trying to write it in here, Doctor.
Okay, HAUS of healthyliving.com. And house is an acronym for healing achieved using the simplicity of healthy living. So it's
HAUS.
HAUS of healthy living. Yes.
Okay.
Healthyliving.com, and then a dose of Dr. Karla on Instagram, and I'm Dr. Karla Mitchell on Facebook. So I need to make that
Yeah.
all sync.
Awesome, awesome. Well, Dr. Karla, you know what? I have enjoyed our conversations, and the reason I have is one, you have provided so much information for people to hold on and grasp, but also to be more curious, right?
Yes,
And
absolutely.
intrigued by it to go and do some things for themselves. But I thought our conversation today was very natural, and it wasn't at all hard to have this conversation. So
Thank
thank you so
you.
very much. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
what you're doing. Continue to be great. Continue to lead. And then I'm going to be looking for that book that you're going to get writing on. And we got that one coming out by this time next year. And so we just put that in the universe.
Thank
And at the
you.
end of the day, thank you and have a
And
great.
may I just say thank you? And I want to celebrate the work that you're doing, Dr. Wicker, and with Career Master. I think it's amazing that you're uplifting women and celebrating the work that they're doing. And so thank you for doing what you do.
Thank you. Thank you. And I've learned that you have to say thank you. And once you say thank you, just put it in your pocket because many of us will not say thank you. We
Yeah.
would just say, oh no, but thank you. I take it.
Thank you.
Love this. And we'll talk and have a great summer.
You too. Have a wonderful rest of your summer. Stay cool.
Thank you. Wow. I don't even know what to say other than I had amazing time this morning with Dr. Karla for a number of reasons. One, she's easy to talk to, but secondly, she's a wealth of information. And if you did not take up some of those gems, go back quickly and listen to it again. The audience here saying yes, great information, love this. This is what we need in Career Mastered and Inside Career Success Show. The whole idea really is that we get how-to information, we get resources, we get what we need so we can live a better life, but also accelerate in our leadership so that we can bring along others, because it's really just not about us, but we have to be healthy and whole to do just that. So I offer you the opportunity to go back and listen to all that we've said here today because it's been great information. Now, let me just remind you that a couple of things happening at Career Master, the top entrepreneur women to watch. You want to make sure that you quickly go to careermaster.com, apply today. While there's an application fee, let me tell you right now, that can be paid later. At this juncture, it's just a matter of getting your information over to us so that we can get the process rolling for your profile and then put you in line to be in terms of an opportunity to receive the $2,500 business grant. That doesn't come every day. And so I offer that to you as an opportunity. Don't let that pass you by. Pick up a copy today of Career Mastered Summer Edition with April Simpkins on the cover. Great story that she is has exclusively shared with us. And then again, we are reminding you about the Brunch with the Masters. So if you are interested in having one of those in your city and becoming an ambassador, don't hesitate to give us a call. Then last but not least, we are bringing along the young girls ages 10 through 18 with the Excel Village Girls STEM Fab Power Summit. We hold these exclusively at Macy's. So in Charlotte, it's going to be on July the 26th at Macy's South Park Mall. You get exclusive shopping, you get money to shop, as well as a fashion show and knowledge about STEM Fab. So ladies, don't let this pass by. I will be honest and transparent. It's been tough to get the girls registered. Don't let this pass by. When people give you opportunities like this in the community to get great things to our girls and exposure, find a girl and sign her up, even if it's after the fact. Do that. And then in Detroit, we'll be over there at the Somerset Collection on September the 6th. Now, I'm going to say this quickly, and then we're going to go. Macy's has supported this for the last couple of years. They have given us a grant of $10,000. That doesn't happen every day. So let's thank Macy's, our sponsors, for doing that. And now let's make good use of that so that we can put our girls in spaces, in places where they are able to learn. And again, I want to thank, and I forgot to do this, but I'd like to thank Ally Financial, Lowe's, Fifth Third Bank, Comerica, as well as Primex and others who have come with us along this path of the Brunch with the Masters. Without them, we're not able to do the things that we do. In the meantime, I'm looking forward to a great summer. We're going to pause our show until fall. I might have some intermittent shows. I have a surprise one coming, maybe in the month of August. July is my birthday month, and we celebrate that month all month. So I will probably take some time off. In the meantime, I want to thank you for joining us. And again, thank you, Dr. Karla, for what she was able to provide to us today. Until then, I'll see you on the next go.